part 2 recipe slides. You're welcome to stop the video and take a couple of pictures if you'd like. Hi, welcome to the Baking Club with Marian. I have a little bonus for you. I'm going to show you how to make your own pinto beans, as in refried beans, if you'd like to use pinto beans or black beans, whichever you want. This takes a little bit of time, so let me just show you what I've got here. First of all, I'm going to use my big old pot, my lid, and I'll show you why. I'm going to take about 1 to 2 cups of pinto beans, and the reason why I put them on my lid is so that I can look for rocks. Yes, rocks, dirt clods, that kind of thing. I don't always find an extra rock or something like that. Dirt clod, I'm not seeing one this time, but I have seen them. I have found them. So rock, dirt clod, nope. None. Going into the pan. Okay, I'm going to do another cup just because that's how I roll, I guess. I don't know. I like pinto beans. You could do the same thing with black beans. Now, my pinto beans happen to be older. So luckily, the soak that I'm going to show you and the pressure cooker helps to. And that would be why we go through it. And the pressure cooker technique allows my beans to actually soften up. Like I said, they're pretty old, but they still do their job if I do my job. Okay, so there's that. Now what I'm going to do is add water. Then I'm going to add water. I'm putting it way up. I mean, you see, I have that many beans. I'll probably fill this pan with water about halfway full. Okay, so fill that up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them on the stove to boil. Once they come to the boiling point, then I boil them for 2 minutes. And then I take them off the stove and set them aside all day or overnight. So that is it for part 1. Get them on to boil them 2 minutes, and then set them aside. And I forgot to tell you, when you're trying to boil something, use a lid. It boils faster. I mean, it gets hotter faster because you're containing all that heat. Okay? All right. So, I'll be back later. I will, like I said, I'm going to let that come to a boil. I'm going to boil it for 2 minutes, and then I'm going to set it aside all day. On my pot holder, out of the way. There we go. That'll be out of the way when I leave it for all day. And then I'll come back at the end of the day. Okay, so I've been leaving the beans to soak through the whole day. I started them in the morning, and now they've been sitting on my counter. So I'm going to grab them. And one of the things that I want to do is rinse them thoroughly. And that helps to take out all of the starch and such that can make a problem in an electric pressure cooker. You notice how much water I had there? Maybe you were able to tell. It was a lot of water, and I do that so that I make sure the beans have lots of water to soak up, to absorb. Now I just rinse them off. I'm just rinsing away some of that starchy element there. When you put them in the electric pressure cooker, you can only have the beans. It's recommended that the beans and the water that gets put into the pressure cooker should only come up to no more than half. That's your beans and your water, your liquid. Okay, so there are my beans. I'm gonna put them right here for a minute, because I just want you to stare at them while I come back over here, right? No. I have to grab my little booklet because I make sure that I do this incredibly right, because I don't want to mess up my pressure cooker. So, my beans happen to be very old. And I found something online, which I will link for you, for beans that aren't so old. I thought I was going to have to get rid of all of these beans, and come to discover that if I did the whole boil and soak, and then went ahead and cooked them in a pressure cooker, I would be able to keep those beans, and they come out really, really nice. So I'm going to pour this into there. The recipe that I'm using happens to be with my 6-quart aluminum pressure cooker, which is actually this pot here, but a long time ago I ordered just a regular old lid. I still have the pressure cooker lids somewhere in the cupboards, but now I also have my electric pressure cooker rather than stovetop. This is actually stovetop. It works pretty well. Okay, so one of the things that it wants me to have is to never fill this more than halfway up. I'm trying to see my, there it is. Okay, good. I'm trying to see my lines on my container. So I've got them in the pot. I'm going to add liquid to, I actually don't need as much now that they've soaked overnight, but I'm going to add some liquid there so that they can do their thing. And I'm actually not going to use a ton of liquid. But I'm also not going skimpy with it either. I want to make sure that it covers those beans and then a little bit more than that. Then, hold on, let me show you. There we go, see? No, of course you can't see. It's hard to see with my high-tech, okay, my low-tech cameras. See, low-tech cameras, there we go. Can't see a thing because, of course, they make everything dark around here. Okay, very good. You kind of sort of saw. Then what it says in this particular recipe is it says, add 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil for cooking. And then once it's all done, you allow the pressure to drop of its own accord. So I'm going to go ahead and add some vegetable oil. And I'm adding 1 tablespoon, and I'm guessing, okay? I've measured out a tablespoon of oil often enough that I think I can kind of sort of guess what 1 tablespoon of oil is. All right, great. Then the other thing is about these beans is that you can add the spices and things before cooking. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. At the basic, I'm going to add some salt. I'm going to add some pepper. And that's my basic. But I usually also add some onion powder. And this is just what we happen to like. If you don't like onion, or don't like garlic, or don't like salt, or don't like pepper, or don't like cinnamon. I'm kidding. I'm not putting cinnamon in my beans. Okay, so there's my garlic. Now I'm going to see what I have in my cupboard here, my spice cupboard, to see if there's something I really want. You know what? I want a few red peppers in there. And it's just dried red pepper. It makes it a little spicy, a little tasty. I love it. Okay, you know what? That's good enough for, oh, no, I'll save that for later. Okay, so now I'm ready. I'm just going to give this a quick whirl with a plastic utensil. When it has coatings, it's plastic all the way. Okay, very good. In it goes. And I'm going to grab this. I have to put the little caulk on top. Make sure that that is closed. Good. Okay, let me just make sure. Okay, I'm good. All right, lock it up. Now, because my beans are old, I have to do mine longer to get done, to get soft. And these are pinto beans. Sometimes I've used black beans, but these are old beans. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to do them for about 30 minutes. If you have new beans recently bought, then it's a lot shorter, like 8, 10, I don't know. I'll have to look that up again. But like I said, I'll leave a link for finding it easily. Now I'm going to press something here. Beans, yes, thank you. 20 minutes on high. Nope, sorry, I need longer than that. I actually do 30 to 40 minutes. I'm going to do 32 minutes. And once they are totally done, we'll come back and check them out. See if they came out the way I wanted them, nice and soft. Because then I can make chili or I can make refried beans with them. Okay, so my beans have all cooked, and now I just have to let the pressure come down on its own. In the meantime, let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use part of these beans to make a chili. I'm going to use part of them to make refried beans without the frying part. So what I have here, you know what, let me do something else first before I show you what I have here. It's always fun when I walk off camera. Is she going to come back? Where'd she go? Alright. So I have my meat here, and I'm going to cook it up. I will need that for my chili and for other uses, but for right now it'll be for the chili. So I got my pan. That is not big enough. I need to bring out the big pan for this just to make it a little easier. So the big pan it is. I know it sounds like I'm in trouble over here. It's just the big pan's hard to get out. There we go. Wouldn't it have been better if I had had this ready before I started recording? Why, yes. Yes, it would, but that's all right. We'll do it anyway. So, oven on. Stovetop on. My beef, I'm going to use my kitchen scissors to cut off the top.
Alrighty. Now the thing is when you're working with meat, you don't want to touch anything else until you have washed your hands. But I need to get this meat cooking, so that's what I'm going to do first. And those scissors, I hope I don't need them for anything else because I've already cut through the meat with them. So there we go. Now, time to wash my hands again. Meat's one of those things that you just have to be a little careful of. Alright, got that taken care of. Now for the meat. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm just going to, wrong, I want the other one. Just going to kind of beat this up a little bit, make it back into chunks. Okay. There we go. Now we'll let it heat up, and then I'll be over there stirring it up a little as we go. But I wanted to show you this. So, I need to cut a tomato. Actually more than one, but I just want to show you this. First of all, I've got a good knife, so the sharper knives are easier to not get cut on because they do so well, whereas the duller knives can make it slip as you're trying to do it. And I just noticed that I touched my hair. I'm sorry. Shouldn't have done that. Now you know. Okay. It's a good thing just me and my husband are eating this, right? Okay. So I cut off one end. Oh, this is just how I do it. You guys might have some other way to do it. So I cut off both ends. And what I do is I'm going to dice this tomato. So this is just a Roma tomato. If you have something bigger, then use that too. Whatever kind of tomatoes you like. Okay, so I cut several strips, get it all lined up again, and I get to cut them in little chunks. And I'm keeping my fingers out of the way. Kind of important safety tip there. Safety first, people. Safety first. I kind of hold my fingers like this so it's not like this when I could really cut myself. Hold my fingers back a little bit. Okay, so there I go. I've got my diced tomatoes ready. So that's how I do that. Now, carrots. Carrots. Oh my gosh. Onions. We got a big ol' onion here. I do this kind of the same thing as I do with the tomato. Is I cut off one end, start whipping some of that peel off there. Cut off the other end. Okay. So just making a mess here. Now, for me, it's just something I do. I probably shouldn't be, but that's what I do. Okay, I take a cut through there, and then I peel off this top thing right there, this top layer, along with that brown skin. So there we go. Now this onion must be a little on the old side, so I'm going to just take off the next layer as well. Not that hard to do, and you still have a good onion left. This is a good onion, but it's got thick skin. There we go. Try not to cry. And there. Okay. I've got onion stuff all over my fingers. Again, where are the paper towels? Here they are. So yeah, handy to have when you're trying to cook. Or wash rag. Okay, good. Did I get it? I'm going to take a little bit more off here because I can feel that it's tight on. And then this goes away so it doesn't get inside the rest of my cuttings. Doesn't leave an awful mess. Okay, very good. Now, I can hear my meat cooking, so I'm going to stir that up a bit. Just kind of stir it around a bit so it's going to get totally done. And as I said, I'm kind of chopping it up into smaller bits as I go. Not exactly chopping, I'm just squishing it into smaller bits. Okay. Now there's that. Now one of the things that I do, usually with my meat, I happen to salt and pepper it a little so it has a little bit of flavor by itself without trying to catch the flavor from other recipes that you may be doing or whatever you're putting this into. I like to add a little bit of salt and pepper so that it gives its own flavor and adds to the flavor of whatever I'm making. In this case, the homemade chili. Here's the funny thing about my homemade chili and my beans and all of that. I have no real recipe. It's one of those, oh, I think I'll just add a little bit of this and add a little bit of that. I kind of like recipes that don't require me to have to measure everything. Okay, so we're cutting the onion. Same kind of thing with the tomato. I usually cut down the center, keeping my fingers away. Once the knife is lower than my fingers, I hold it steady there. Yay! Okay, got it. Good. Then I put them down like I did with the tomatoes. Again, this is so not an official way to cut onions and tomatoes. It's just the way I've done it for years. It's just the way I keep doing it. If I wanted a little bit bigger pieces, like, you know, onion chunks or something instead of diced onion, then I wouldn't go to all of the intermediate chopping that I just did. Okay, so there's that. For instance, if I wanted onion, I don't know what you'd call them, onion strands, onion strings, if I wanted them like this, like maybe I'm putting them into a sandwich or something, or even a salad, then I would just do that and stop right there. But I'm going to dice these onions, which means I go through and I cut in between, or cut a number of rows of this. Boy, I don't even know the term for some of these cooking things. I'm dicing onions, that's all I know. If you feel the need to have background music while you're working here, by all means, you can make up your own or put some songs on. Usually if I have a lot of things to cook at one fell swoop, then I will put on my loud, obnoxious dancing music so I can dance while I cook and in the kitchen where nobody can see me. So you're not going to see that, okay? Now, just off of the camera screen. Oh, look. I have 2 magic bowls of a lot more than what I just cut. I pre-cut a lot. I left 1 onion so that you guys could see me cut it, and I had cut about 4 of the Roma tomatoes before we even started the video. So there is that. Now, so I've got some chopped onion. I've got some chopped tomato. I also have some garlic, some tomato sauce. This happens to be in a bigger can than I wanted it to be. I don't know why we bought such big cans, but we did, and now I'll just use some. I have the salt and pepper. I have some lime juice. I've got some cumin. Okay, good. I've got some chili powder. I've got some cayenne pepper. This one I'm going to make it a little more spicy. And then of all things, I saw this in a recipe and I thought, I'm going to try it. In the making your own chili, it had a little bit of cinnamon. Again, I am so not going to measure anything. I'm just going to add a little bit of this and a little bit of that and some more of this and some more of that. I'll use some of the onions in the chili. I'll use some of the tomatoes in the chili. And let's see if this is ready. It is not. So we will pause until the pressure has naturally released. And keep cooking your ground beef. Now, the beans have naturally released the pressure, so I'm going to lift the lid. Now, let me just tell you something right quick. Be careful. Because when you open up a lid with lots of hot stuff on the inside, then what you're going to find is a lot of steam. Okay? And a lot of water on the lid. I don't want that steam nor that water to get on me. So, let's see. Very good. Now, the beans are ready. The meat is ready. And since I have this great big pan here, whoa, I'm not ready. Okay. Need to mess up my nice clothes. What was I thinking? Alright, so what was I saying? Beans are ready. Meat's ready. Now to add to so that it creates a chili. So what I'm going to do is I have it on kind of low right now, but I may need to get that a little hotter. I'm going to add some of the beans. Now the thing is I gotta scoop it out with a slotted spoon. There's a Teflon coating on here, so that means no metal in that at all. Okay, gonna get some of these out, not all of them out. It'll have some liquid in it, but nothing but liquid. Now I'm looking at my beans, and maybe I don't have as many as I thought. So maybe I don't need as much meat as I thought either. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to get a little bit of the liquid as well, so that I can add that to my meat. metal. Don't let it touch the sides of the coated lining in there, the coated pot. Okay, I need to take out some of my meat because there's too much of it for as few beans as I'm going to use. I can save this for a different meal. Maybe a stir fry another day. Now I'm going to add these beans over here to the meat. There we go. Now it's time to add stuff to it. I'm going to add some of the tomato sauce. Again, not all of it. This is a big can. Now because I added some liquid to this pan, I need to turn it up a little more again, because now it's cooled off a little bit. Okay, very good. Oh, this is looking good. Okay, I'll bring it over there. I knew you wanted to see it. I'll show you. Hopefully I don't burn myself. I won't. I'm good. Check that out. Yeah, chili. Homemade. So far, so good. I want some onions, not all the onions. I'll save the other onions for a stir fry. Okay. I happen to like onions, so, and my husband happens to like onions, so we use onions. If you don't like onions, don't use them. You're fine. Nobody's going to cry. I'm not going to cry if you don't use onions. Okay. Stir it up a bit. Okay, good. Yes, 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 yes. And you can't even see it. I could bring my entire non-technologically advanced computer over there, so hold on. Okay, how's that? Now you can see it as I work. Woohoo, right? All right, a little bit of light on that. Very good. Now it's time to spice things up a bit, which of course is over there on the other sides of the room. So here is a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, a little bit of garlic, or more, because I like garlic too. Okay, I'm going to stir that around a bit. Now I notice that some of my liquid is boiling away, so I happen to have turned that down a little while I was moving you over to here. Okay, so there's that. Now I gotta get some other stuff here. A little bit of lime juice. Don't trip on your rugs on the floor. Okay, a little bit of lime juice. Yum. Oh boy. Now it's all of my other ones. Spices. Let's see, what do I got first? I got cinnamon first. This should be fun. Let's see how that tastes once we're done. Oh, that was plenty, I think. But it should be good. Then I've got my cayenne. Oh, I'm going to be careful with this. This is hot stuff. Okay, a little more. Yep, yep, yep. Done, done, and done. Okay, what else? What else? I got chili powder. Might as well make this very spicy, right? Knock my socks off. And then some cumin. All right, I apologize. I forgot to look it up. Cumin, I think it's cumin. I always have the hardest time with that. But I'll look it up and tell you if I was wrong on the video. Oh, that smells so good. Okay, got that. Now I'm just gonna whip that all together. Okay, so you can use this chili for your chalupas, which is coming up next. Or you can just eat it and get a can of chili, or make more chili, whichever you prefer. Okay, so there is my chili and beans. Oh, you know, I made the beans. I did the pinto beans, right? But you can also just get a can of black beans. Throw it in, put the meat in, put the onion in, the spices in. So yeah, you can do that as well. Gotta pause you because now we gotta go blend up and make the refried beans. And what did I do? I forgot to put some tomatoes in there too. Some of the diced tomatoes. So I'll just throw those in. Not all of them. Because I did put in tomato sauce, but oh, it tastes good that way with extra onion and tomatoes, right? Tomatoes all in there. So I got that stirred up. I'm going to let it cook a little bit. But I'm also going to put the lid on it, and the reason is then it'll hold in the liquid. If I just let it boil like that, some of the liquid that's in there will go away. And I want to keep that liquid because I have just enough. Now I need to clear this off as much as possible, and I will do it as quickly as possible, which doesn't seem to be too quick just yet, does it? All right. Cinnamon goes there, cumin back there, chili powder and cayenne go up front. That's right, we use that if we can. Salt and pepper, that's front and center. Good. All right, so gotta move things. Oh my goodness, people. Make sure you have a lot of counter space. At least you don't have to play to the camera. You can use your whole space and table and whatever else you need to be able to work with your stuff. Okay, so here's what I need. I need my food processor again. I gotta shift you guys so you can see what I'm doing. I've got this, I'm gonna trade places with this. I gotta move this out of my way because my motor to my blender thingy is. Don't you like all my my names for things? My blender thingy. Okay, so my food processor and its motor doesn't reach very far from where my plug is. So this is where I'm doing it. So again, plastic spoon. Now I'm going to put the rest of these beans in here. And these are what all I'm going to do is crush them, chop them to bits, make them into mashed beans. It's not even refried beans. Whoops. I'm just making mashed beans here. And that's what I like to do for my refrieds. Now I already spiced this, so it should be pretty good. And I've got to get something, oh good. I happen to have plastic measuring cups as well. I can hear that boiling. I don't want it to boil that much. Okay, sorry. spices everywhere. I love it. Just don't cough on your food that everybody's going to eat. Okay. Now beans and a little liquid. And that should do it for me. I'm going to save the liquid though, because I might need more for the beans. And I need the lid. A lid! Okay. So, here we go. I think that's it. That was quick. Oh yeah. They are done. Done and done. Now, I noticed that they're a little more liquidy than I would want them to be. But the thing is that once I start cooking them and once I leave them in the fridge for a little bit, then they're going to start getting a little thicker. And if they are not thick enough for you, for your taste, then go ahead and just let them boil down a little bit when you reheat them. So that is it. Now the homemade beans, again, that can be on the chalupas, which is next time. So you're welcome to eat this or not, as you will, and save it for chalupas. Or you can just eat them up, because they're good. And you can always just buy refried beans at the store. So you can make chili just by getting some black beans. You could make real refried beans or just get the can. And you can always not make your own chili and just get a can of chili. And there we go. Oh, this is going to be good. Just wait till I show you chalupas. Oh my gosh. They get very messy. You will need lots of paper towels for chalupas. Oh, not necessarily for making them, for eating them. That is the challenge. So, you guys, I will see you again. Thank you for watching this little bonus baking with the Marion, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.